It's kind of like a mass that keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Hi, this is Mike Maloney, and I just came across this amazing chart, and believe it or not, this chart reminds me of a movie that I saw when I was about 6 years old. Now, before we get to the movie, I'm going to let you know what this chart represents. The gold line is the number of government employees in the United States. The blue line is the number of manufacturing employees, the people that actually produce the wealth of this economy, the people that create all of the things that we buy. And these are just absolute numbers here. It's not a percent of the population or a percent of GDP. The population has grown 2.5 times since this chart starts. This chart starts in 1939. And so you see that in 1939, manufacturing was twice as big as government. But government grows, and it grows like a cancer, and it is basically a leech. It sucks economic energy, it sucks prosperity away from the blue line. It survives off of the blue line. It consumes the blue line, or that's what it's doing now. And it reminded me of this old movie called The Blob with Steve McQueen, about this gelatinous mass that arrives in a meteorite from outer space and just starts consuming everything in its path.
An old man finds it, touches it, and this is the shocking result. From then on, there's no stopping the blob as it spreads from town to town.
What we see here is government is basically a consumption device, and it's something that's out of control, and it keeps on growing faster than the population, faster than the economy, and it consumes part of the economy. Whenever the government provides something, it can't provide something for free. People don't realize this when they vote for the government to do things for them. The government always has to take from somebody else, and it's a wealth transfer. They take from one sector of the population and they give to another. When they do that, a businessman or an investor, they basically point a gun at them and they say, give me your money. So give me your currency. So this is basically robbery. And they do it under threat of jail time. You pay your taxes, and they take $200 from a productive individual over here, and they run it through the government, and the people at the IRS have to get paid, the Treasury, Congress, the White House. They create some department, and then with multiple layers of bureaucracy, and they all have to get paid. And of that $200 that was taken from an individual that had it invested, he didn't have all that cash in his closet. It was invested in stocks or bonds or small businesses that employ people. They take that away from him, run it through the government, and that $200 comes spitting out as $100 that finally pays a school teacher or some guy building a road or something like that. So there is nothing that is a net positive for society that government can do for us. All it does is consume, and it is like the blob, consuming everything in its path. And it's out of control, and it's still growing. And what really worries me is that as the economy gets worse, and as the baby boomers, the 50% of the baby boomers have not saved for retirement. They have nothing saved up, and Social Security is going to run dry in future years here. So there is no real way to take care of them in retirement, and since they are the majority, they are going to vote for the government to do something about it, for the government to take care of them. And so this is only going to get worse. What you see here is that in about 1989, with the crash of 87, the recession that started in 89, 90, 92, the gold line of government employees crossed the blue line. And then this century, with the crash of the NASDAQ, that blue line has started to plunge, and it hasn't stopped plunging. Now, what I find interesting is we had a very, very strong dollar back in the late 90s and up until the year 2000, 2001. And then the dollar started to plunge, making our exports much more affordable overseas. And so that blue line shouldn't be falling like it is. And then lately, over the past year, our dollar has gone, it was 120 on the US dollar index back in the year 2000. It fell to about 80, and now it's risen back to 100 in just the past year. And so rising back to 100 is bad for our exports, bad for that blue line. And so I don't see these things getting better, and it's because of out-of-control government consuming the private economy.
It's indestructible. It's indescribable. Nothing can stop it.
This town is in danger.
How can it be stopped? Mob hysteria sweeps one city. Before long, the nation, and then the world could fall before the blood-curdling threat of the blob.